How's it going, everybody? Got a super special guest today. How's it going, guys? What's up, everyone? How's it going? Got a super special guest coming in today to chat. Let a couple more people log on. We'll get this thing rolling. Awesome. Welcome, welcome. Got to get this old comment pinned up here, per usual. Hello. Thanks for saying what's up. Platypod coming at you here in a second. We have a very special guest today, and as you can see from the comment I just put on there, he's also offering you a very special deal. Platypod, we are chatting with the one and only Larry, CEO of Platypod, creator, founder, everything Platypod. So I'm super excited to have him. So we've got Dr. Larry Tieffenbrunn is not only the founder and CEO of Platypod, but he's also a practicing pediatrician. That's right. Is there a doctor in the house? Yes, there is. That is really crazy. I actually found that out today, and I had a meeting with him the other day. He currently heads a 5-person practice in New Jersey where his images line the hallways and exam rooms. That's pretty cool. Imagine going to the doctor, or your child going to the doctor in this case, and seeing all the cool images coming up. In addition, Larry is a father of 6 with his wife, Mina, and enjoys photographing his family. Somehow, Larry still finds time to explore and improve his craft, shooting portrait, travel, macro, and product photography. And that was a very, I shouldn't say humble, but also he does a lot with Platypod. I mean, he is the guy for Platypod. Nice shirt. Thanks, Scott. Appreciate that. Compliments to you, my man. So let's get Larry on here. Let's get Platypod on. We'll have some more guests coming in. Again, feel free to ask us any question below. If we don't answer it right off the bat, we will get right to it. But we have a lot of cool stuff planned with Larry. So I'm going to go ahead and ask Larry to join in, and we will get things rolling here. All right. Larry, how's things going?
Okay, Drew, how are you doing?
Good. Thanks for joining us today. I appreciate it.
Well, it's really a pleasure to be here, and I'm such a big fan of Litra, I can't even tell you. I met Scott, your president and CEO, and Andrew, who runs marketing, over at NAB last year, and they showed me the Litra Torch and also the Litra Pro, and I have to tell you, I was just floored. You know, the second Scott took out his iPhone and showed me how you can operate this Pro from an iPhone, I said, "Wow, I gotta have one of these myself." So I went and bought one on my own.
Wow.
And you know, I saw that there was going to be a tremendous fit between Litra and Platypod because we're both trying to do some very similar things, which dovetailed just beautifully. So we've been partnering ever since, and I guess you'll hear more of that as we go along.
No, that's really cool. And as much as you're a fan of Litra, obviously, we're a big fan of Platypod. So I'd really like to know, first off, just personally, so the viewers can kind of get to know you personally a little bit more. You know, tell us a little bit about yourself and how you kind of got into this industry and how things formed from there with Platypod. I'm sure it's a long story, but you have to keep it brief.
Okay, we'll keep it rather. It actually goes way back. I started into photography when I was a teenager, about 45 years ago, and fell in love with it. I was the high school photography yearbook editor, and going on down from there. For a while, I got into video. And now really what I just love doing is just taking different scenes and seeing how I can make it special, make it my own, walk around an object, look at it from different angles. And I love shooting portraiture, landscape, just about everything that you can name, studio photography. The story of Platypod's a simple but interesting one. Mina, my wife, and I were out in Bryce Canyon. Well, we're going back about 7 years now, 6 or 7 years. And we took a hike 1,000 feet down into the canyon. I had my camera bag with me. I had what was then called a travel tripod. Now I don't know. It was about 6 pounds at the time. I had it hanging off my belt. Walked all the way down. Got some beautiful pictures. The reason I wanted a tripod on there is so we could do some self-portraits on a remote, and also so we could get some really nice depth of field shots to slow down the shutter a little bit and be able to close down the aperture.
Yeah.
Well, when I walked back up out of the canyon, I was absolutely exhausted and breathless. Not exactly a young man, hopefully not all that old either, but it was really rough. And I started looking for a compact tripod. Now, we all have those twisty, bendy tripods in those days, but I found that those tripods that you would keep in your camera bag would take up the space of an entire telephoto lens.
Yeah.
And we all know also how precious every cubic inch of your camera bag is to
Absolutely.
you. So I started looking around. I wanted a flat tripod. All I needed was a plate with a bolt in it that I could mount the tripod head onto and go from there. And I found nobody made one. I looked through one of the big photography stores. There were 250 different brands of tiny little tripods. They were all rated 1 to 3 pounds and all kind of rickety. So a friend of mine's in the metals business. We get together. I came up with this idea to stick a bolt in a plate, do it very nicely, and we decided to call it by it was actually my idea to call it by an interesting name. Platy in Greek means flat. A pod is a foot. That's exactly what it is, a flat foot. So we made this. We're manufacturing them in the Far East. That's where my friend has his factories that he works with. And we started selling them. We took them to trade shows, started off with Photoshop World with Scott Kelby back in 2015. And they were flying out like hotcakes. Apparently, I wasn't the only person who found this to be a need, and it blossomed from there.
No, that's amazing. I think you're right. I mean, you are right for sure. I mean, every inch of that bag, especially when you're on a hike, because Bryce Canyon's just down the road for me a couple hours, and that whole area and that whole experience of carrying your stuff into those crack canyons and hiking and doing all that stuff, it's insane how crazy how much you rely on your bag and how much you rely on your gear.
Right.
So the fact that you were able to create this Platypod, which I'm actually really stoked that you said that, because that was one of my questions. What does the name mean? So a flat foot. I mean, you were able to create this thing that not only is saving you space, but it's super efficient, and it obviously works as well.
By the way, Drew, can I pause for a second to ask you a technical question? I feel like I'm very bright in here, and you're more of an Instagram expert than myself. Any tips on how to get the brightness decreased a little?
So which light are you using?
I have a Pro there. I don't think it's the lights. I think what it's doing is it is seeing my dark shirt and picking. Now, everybody, you're learning a little bit about lighting here, and just picking up the brightness. See if I get my hand in there, then all of a sudden
this will be fun. So what's your exposure at on your Pro?
So the exposure on the Pros, I think, is about 40%, but the Pro's light in the corners here, I'm actually on just some fluorescent lighting also in the room there. So maybe, you know what, my Mina's in the corner here. Mina, can you kill that main light switch and let's see what happens? Is that better?
That's great. Now you got some shaped lighting, so now you got more some dynamic shadows.
All right, so let me move the Pro over a little bit. Hang on there. We'll feather out that light. Does everybody in your audience know what feathering the lighting means, by the way?
I'm not sure if they do or not. Anyone on the comments, please see if you know what feathering the light means. Or sometimes on set we'll call it wasting the light, right? So getting it off of the subject. So I've got here my main coming in from my Litra Studio. I've got my fill coming in from my Pro, and I've got my backlight coming in from my Pro as well. But these are all on about 10% right now because it's that auto exposure. So
okay, so here's my Litra Studio, okay? And basically, if I point it straight at me, it's really hot right over there. If I turn it away from me and just catch the edge of it, see how much nicer that lighting is? So we'll give a little lighting lesson to everybody over here.
There you go.
And so basically, what I'm doing is feathering it. So I'm catching a little bit of light on this side of my face. The other part is coming out here, and it's a much more even lighting. So if you're ever finding you're getting hot spots like that, just turn the light away from your subject, and you get a nice feathering in there. Okay, little lighting lesson in the middle. We'll get back to platypods.
Well, I think that's great. I think that's what this whole thing's about. And I've blacked out my studio, so the only light that I have coming in is what my controlled lighting. So wasting light, feathering light, that's super important, especially if you're doing like Rembrandt setups. And I always tell the viewers here, getting that triangle underneath that eye right there is just gold. I mean,
So you
that is
get the
what we're looking
Rembrandt.
for. So
Exactly. Exactly.
yeah, absolutely. So no, really cool. Plus really fun lesson there. I think,
Nice little diversion.
yeah, absolutely. So I want to kind of know, now that we've kind of talked about the history of Platypod, what's a normal working day look like for you? It sounds like you've got a lot of different things going on as far as I didn't know you were a pediatrician when we talked the other day. And I was crazy reading your bio and a little bit more about you. So what's a working day look like for you? And obviously Platypod's keeping you busy, being a pediatrician does as well, I'm
Sure.
sure.
Sure. Well, I don't recommend this for everyone, but I'm in a busy 5-person pediatric practice. So we've got a large patient load. I work basically Sunday through Thursday and see my patients from roughly about 9 to 5. And then after that, come home and it's Platypod time. And it's really kind of a mom and pop business. Mina and I are running the business with the tremendous help of Skip Cohen and his team. And I don't know if you've met Skip, former CEO of Hasselblad, and now runs
Wow.
a small marketing company. And he's been helping me run this company, and we're getting a lot done. How do you make the time for all this, Drew? Honestly, I don't know. I have no idea. But a few of the things I try is, a lot of the time that we waste in life is in between the things that we have to be doing. So walk swiftly. Don't just drag along, first of all. I keep always a reminder list on my smartphone, and I just tick down that list. I look at it 2 or 3 times a day, make sure I'm getting everything done. And any idea that comes onto my head goes onto that list. And you make time for the things you love to do. And I have to tell you, I love what we've been doing. I love inventing. I love producing. And I love bringing to market things that people really need.
Yeah, and I think you're getting that feedback now. You're finding, going to these trade shows and things, that this is something that, so photographers, videographers, anyone that's looking to save space in their gear bag, this is something that they actually really want and need. And not only it's a need, not a want, but it's something that works, right? So
Drew,
let's talk.
you know what the best part of a trade show is for someone like me, and I would put this word out there, and I think Scott Gant, head of Litra, would agree. You don't make a fortune of money at a trade show because you spend so much actually being able to go to a trade show. It costs thousands of dollars to attend a trade show. But what I've gained is the customer feedback face to face with people handling your equipment and saying, hey, why don't we try this, try that? Maybe in your next version or whatever, you'll do certain things. We have built and developed so much from when we started out based on what people have been telling us at trade shows. And if you just listen, you listen to your colleagues, you listen to professional photographers, we vet everything out that we invent to quite a number of top-notch photographers in the country, you learn a tremendous amount and your product becomes better because of it.
Yeah, absolutely. And then you go to a trade show, you learn from it, you go back, you execute just like what you said. So I want to start getting into Platypod as a brand, and then we'll get into Litra as well, because I know there's some really cool, unique things you can do with the accessories that you were showing me the other day. So tell me a little bit about Platypod, the accessory kits, the different types that you guys sell, who would need that and why? Because some people on here might not be as familiar as your audience is. Like let's go into these accessory bundles, and I'd love to just hear kind of your word and your knowledge on those.
Okay, so let's start from the very basic. We started with a small plate. I don't have one of those to show you, that was about the size of an iPhone and had a titanium bolt in. The reason we did titanium, couldn't do stainless steel. Stainless steel melts in anodizing solution. So, and titanium is a whole lot stronger. It's more expensive, but it does a really nice job. So we started using that, and then, and I'm sorry, let me take a step back. What's the need for a Platypod? If you're shooting in a studio and you're shooting at waist or eye height, you don't need a Platypod. You need a tripod, and we're all for tripods in the right situation. But when you want to go out and travel light, or you're going to places, and we've all encountered this, places that don't allow tripods, we call the tripod police, places like I'm from the East Coast, Empire State Building. If you go to Washington, D.C., Smithsonian Institute, a lot of Disneyland. Well, some places in Disney, they'll let you get away with it. But, you know, there were so many places, churches and beautiful museums. They don't want tripping hazards there. So they will not allow tripods. We've hardly ever heard of someone turned away for using a Platypod. That's number one. Number two, we've created something so thin. I'll show you our larger one. This is Platypod Max, okay? So thin and so light that you can simply stick this in your pocket or stick it in the pocket of your camera bag. Would you like me to go over what Max is about, and then we'll go into the Ultra model? Is that okay?
Yeah, let's check that out, and then let's really talk about the accessories with the torches on them, because I really love that setup and how easy it was to use and how it looked.
Absolutely. So let me just establish the principle, and then I'll move right into that. Okay.
Love it.
Platypod Max. It is a plate. It's a very strong plate, 5mm thick, aircraft grade aluminum. We've actually run over this with a car, and we couldn't get it to bend. And the plate's got a bunch of features. Number one, it has a 3/8 inch bolt right over here, titanium bolt. And what you do is you take your own tripod head. I have a little one here to show. And you just screw it on there. And without any tools, we spit it into place. That bolt has a T-shaped head. It's locked through the plate and then welded nicely in place. You can hardly even see the weld in the back. And you cannot dislodge that. You could hang, and we have hung 300 pounds off the side of this, and we couldn't get it to bend or dislodge in any way. So the only limiting weight factor is whatever your tripod head can hold. Now, we built this around a very big ball head made by a company called Really Right Stuff that'll hold 60 pounds easily, and it'll fit beautifully on here. But we incorporated a bunch of other features, and this is the basis for the rest of our accessories and products. Number one, built into the Platypod Max is a little holder box over here that holds 4 spikes. They have a rubber tip at one end and a sharp spike at the other end. And what you do with these is, in any of one of 5 different positions, you just wind this right through the plate. Now, if you're on rock or concrete, this will grip very well, even at an angle like that, even up to 45 degrees. It'll grip so it won't slip around on the rock, and it won't jiggle. If you're on a flat table, or you just put it on the floor or carpet, then you don't even need the spikes. So the spikes are held right on board, and we supply this with 4 of these spikes, and it comes inside a little magnetic holder. And if you don't want the holder there, you can just snap it. It pops right off.
Cool.
There are some larger pieces of equipment for which that holder won't be good. Now, we also incorporated some little carabiner holes into here, so you can just hang this off your backpack or off your pocket. We also have in here 2 central holes, so if you want to store this on your tripod or store it on top of a monopod, you can do that, shoot like that, then just spin this off and drop it on the floor. This way, you don't have to invert the center column of your tripod, turn it upside down to get those low-angle shots. Just spin this off, put it on the ground. You notice these slots over here. These slots, as we get into the accessories, will enable you to put a belt. Even a plain belt from your pants can go through this, so you can strap it onto objects. Very useful if you want to do behind-the-scenes shots, if you want to do time-lapse and hang this on a telephone pole or a tree. You can do that as well. That's the Platypod Max. Now, let's build from here. This is the base. And I can talk a little bit later about our smaller model, the Platypod Ultra, but I think the Litra fans will be more interested in this one because of its wide holding capacity.
Yeah.
Let's come in with a Litra light. Now here's a Litra torch with some barn doors on it. Yep. Okay, very cool little barn doors, and a diffuser, and everybody knows how amazingly bright this thing is. That's on low. Let's go low, medium, high. It's that's what amazed me so much, is how much power is packed into the Litra lights. Yep. Now I want to mount this onto the Platypod. How do you do that? Well, I looked around and I found at one of the big photo stores you could buy a gooseneck. So I bought a gooseneck. This one's ours. I bought a different brand of gooseneck. I paid about $20 for one gooseneck. And the goosenecks have 1/4-20 screws at the end. And just so happens that we also have 1/4-20s. So you just screw the gooseneck into here. I'll do this right in the center position here. Just screw the gooseneck into here. And now you've got a nice place to put your Litra torch. So that if you want to do vlogging or you want to do macro work, you've got a really nice platform for that. And you could bend it off to the side. You can point it down. You don't need to do anything, because the beauty of a gooseneck, you just push it and it goes where you want it to go and it stays in place. So the gooseneck that I bought had a male screw at both ends. I wanted a little bit more versatility, and I said, you know what? I can do this better, and I think I can do this at a little bit less expense. So what I did was decided, let's put a male screw at one end, female at the other end. I'll add in a little cross nut. And for anybody who hasn't seen a cross nut, is that clear? That's a cross nut, which is male to male. Okay.
Male to male, yeah.
All right. Now, if I want to go male to male, I can. If not, I put in an extra little screw hole here on the side, so you could just store this and not lose it, because we all hate losing small parts to the things that we love. Yep. And now that you're male to female, guess what you can do? You can daisy chain these.
See, that's really cool. That's really unique. I mean, goosenecks aren't new, but that technology right there is new and game-changing. So that's really, really cool.
And by the way, most goosenecks that you'll find are made for music. They have 5/8 inch screws at the ends, and so it's not much use for photography, really.
Very true, yeah.
What we've just done is we've decided on our website, and you don't have to get the lights from us. You can get the lights from Litra if you want to also. So we did is we're supplying 2 packs of goosenecks, and our goosenecks come in pairs, so you can daisy chain them and extend them from the regular 10.5 inch length and make them 21 inches in length. So 2 packs of these, and now what you can do, let's use our imagination here a little bit, or actually not, I'm going to show you exactly. Now you take this set. Now I have it mounted as one gooseneck here I use for a key light. The key light is a light that comes in from the angle, for those who don't know. And another one I put on a double length gooseneck, which will go right over the camera, as so. And now you can have a nice macro setup, or you can also use this for vlogging. So let's say you take your smartphone. It's just an old iPhone 4 here I use as a dummy phone. And I'll pick this up in a second in case you can't see this. And I'm going to mount this onto here. And now all you have to do is set this on a table, and you're ready to do some FaceTiming or vlogging with beautiful lighting. Yep. And good to go there.
Yeah, realistically, you could use that right now, like for what we're doing, right? Like if that was not a dummy phone, you could spin that 100 or 180 degrees back at you, and then you'd have perfect key light. You'd have that top fill light, and you'd be good to go.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah. No, I love that. I think that's really cool with the accessories. When you showed me that the other day, the daisy chaining the gooseneck was really unique. And I was looking at your website too, and you have, you know, a lot of macro stuff. You can set that on the base, shooting those rings on, like for a wedding maybe, if we have wedding photographers or videographers watching. And then you can really get that light in really low, and it's all connected, right? So you're not moving stuff around as much. And again, extremely versatile, but also very low key. It's very much not intrusive, right? So maybe you're in this room with the bride getting ready. You have your other assistant taking photos. You go over, you say, hey, can I borrow the ring? And then you've got your nice setup here in the room, rather than bringing in a bunch of big bulky lights, and it's just not intrusive. It's really cool.
Drew, did you want to see some more accessories?
Yeah, let's check out some more accessories.
Okay.
For sure.
So we've got another little kit which sells on our website for just $29, and it's called the Platypod Accessory Kit. And this has 4 items plus a storage bag. And I find these to be very useful items, and I think you're going to find this super useful, especially for the Litra Studio. Now, those goosenecks that I showed you are good for a Litra torch, and they're also very good for a Litra Pro. No
Yep.
problem. They'll hold either one up. In fact, when I'm using these, I have one at each side of my iMac with a double gooseneck on it, and right at the top, I'll mount a Pro at each corner, and I'll put one of the Litra soft boxes on there. And so even double length will hold that rig very, very nicely. Double length is rated to 16 ounces. Single length is a little bit stronger and will hold up to 24 ounces. Okay.
Yeah.
But let's go through the kit. Number 1, it comes with a strap. Remember, we talked about belts, so you can just take this strap and you thread it through the loops over here, and strap it around a tree or a pole, and you can just Velcro it shut. Or if you want super strength, it also includes double D-rings. And for all you mountaineers and hikers out there, you know that once you go through a double D-ring, the more you try to pull it apart, the tighter it gets and the better hold it has. We've hung 50 pounds off of this, no problem whatsoever. Second item, let's say you want to use your car as your tripod. You're pulling off to the side of the road. You want to do some vlogging with a beautiful scenery in behind you, and you don't want this to slip around on your car hood, and you don't want anything to get scratched. So you can just take, this comes with a little silicone rubber pad. You put that on your car. It doesn't slide at all, and if it ever gets dusty and loses its stickiness, you can just wash it with soap and water, and that'll work. Very, very useful little thing. Next item, we have a reducer. So if you want to put, let's say, a 1/4 item on here, because our screw is 3/8 inch. So let's say I wanted to put a flash cold shoe like this, $5 item. This way I could adapt that right to here and put this as a flash head. Where do I use this? Super helpful. I'll take this, I'll stick this on top of a bookshelf at a party, and use that as a remote to give me a key light or a background light, and then I'll have a fill flash near my camera to fill in. So also very useful little item, the little reducer. And last but not least, this I think is super helpful for Litra users, especially if you're using the Litra Studio, which is a heavy-ish light. I think fully equipped with the grid and the barn doors on here and the diffuser inside. This can weigh well over, I think, 3 or 4 pounds. Correct me if I'm wrong. And so what this is called a spigot adapter. Right. It's 3 inches long, 3/8 inch at one end, 1/4 inch 20 on the other end. And you take this and you put this on the Platypod Max.
There you go. Okay.
And you can use an umbrella adapter to go on top of there. I happen to like a unit from a company called Magmod, which Drew, you probably have heard of. They make some very nice flash accessories. And this is called the Mag Shoe. And what it is it's a handle that holds your light. But basically the point is to show this mounts right onto here. Now what you can do with this is, let's say you want to get some video, or you just want some background work to light up perhaps a bride's dress. Slip it on the floor behind the bride. You've got no stands or anything showing, and you can position this up and down, and you've got super stability to hold a rig like this. It'll also hold mono lights for the still photographers out there. Very useful thing. So all that comes together with a little red velour bag, and is, as I said, $29 on our website.
No, that's really cool. And I'm in my eyes right now, I'm looking at my studio here. I'm thinking what would be really cool is to use that loop and that strap, mount it to my grid system up above, and then use that Litra Studio, and then I don't have light stands everywhere, right? So not only can it go on the ground, but you can turn it upside down and do that as well. I think that's really cool and versatile. So that's pretty amazing. And I think it's what also is really cool is you offered all the viewers that are watching right now a 20% off code that expires after tomorrow. If you use Litra 20 on platypod.com, you can actually receive 20% off your order right now. So very unique to the viewers right now. And again, that expires after tomorrow. So you can buy those accessories. You can buy the Platypods. It does not include the bundles, if I'm correct. But I think that that is a killer deal. So anyone that's watching right now that finds interest in that and can find use for that, I think that's absolutely an amazingly good deal. I mean, that's really cheap for, it really knocks off the price, you know, and the stuff is already very well priced, I think, especially for how much use it is. But I think right now, I think that's incredible.
Drew, if the viewers want to do a screen capture, you can just take an image of that. Is that clear? I can't see from here.
It's not too clear, but I do have it pinned at the bottom. If you click the more, it has the Litra code at the bottom, and I actually put that information on the pin at the bottom.
Okay, excellent.
So we had a question come in, Larry, that says, what's the coolest shot you've ever seen using a Platypod? So I'm sure you have a lot of ambassadors and things sending photos for your Instagram. What's the coolest one you've seen?
Well, honestly, the one that touched me the most was one that's actually right behind me here. And this was taken by world-famous photographer Rick Salmon. He was in China and saw this woman working at a loom, and you should see the straight shots that she did. It's nice, it's okay, but you could teach a whole photography class from this one picture.
Yeah.
By putting the camera on the floor underneath the loom, shooting up, and you were talking about Rembrandt lighting before, by the way. Notice the perfect triangle.
Yeah, perfect triangle.
The lighting in here is amazing. You've got leading lines moving your eye all around this picture. I got to say, this is one of the nicest shots I've ever seen. The other shot I've got up here was done by a fellow named Don Komarechka. Don is coming out very soon with a book called Macro Photography: The World at Our Feet. He raised $140,000 last year on Kickstarter for this book, and it's in press now and about to come out. But he does amazing photography using water droplets. He sprays water droplets on these little sprigs from plants. I don't even know the name of the plant. And then he put a colorful flower behind it. And if you look at the droplets, you see the flower sharp right in each one of those droplets. So what he did was he had his rig up there with the Litra lights on our goosenecks, lighting everything up, because it took a lot of light to get this much of depth of field. It doesn't look like you need a lot, but when you're that close up to an object, you need to really stop down quite a bit and have a lot of light to support you with a shot like that.
That's really cool.
Those are two of my favorites. But you know what? If you go on Instagram to Platypod and take a look at the many different photos, we've got toy photography on there. We've got landscapes, night shots, long exposures, time lapses. It's just amazing what people are doing, because the Platypod is a tool you always have with you. It doesn't take up very much space at all.
Exactly. And we had another question roll in that I need to answer for LW Photo 292. Where can I get the little square lights? Those are the Torch 2.0s, and those are available on our website, litra.com. And actually, if you go on to Platypod's website and they actually sell them on there as well. It's they have a link there, so you can receive that Litra 20% off. You can buy the accessories or the Platypod with that. Then you can have the whole kit. So hopefully that helps you out. So I kind of want to move into a little bit more Litra centered, just because we are kind of partners with you guys.
Sure.
Let's talk about Litra and Platypod together. I mean, I know you showed us the example of how easy it is, and with the accessories and the goosenecks. But why do you think that, I mean, besides portability, why do you think that these two go hand in hand with each other so well?
I think this gives a perfect platform to hold it. Let me tell you a little story. We became friendly with Rick Salmon. We were helping sponsor. He had a podcast last year that he was doing together with my good friend Larry Becker. And Rick loves to play guitar. And I have my youngest son also is an avid guitar player. Well, the two of them got together for a jam in my son REA's basement. and I wanted to record this, and I wanted to have it nicely lit. So I took with me 2 Litra Pros, and we didn't get to this yet, but I took also a few of the Platypod Ultras. Now try to imagine this. I took goosenecks.
Yep.
I put the Ultras up on the rafters. I just screwed it in with 1 screw there. And then I would hook this up. Let's do this with a single one right now. I hook this up like this. Hang on 1 second there. And, whoop. Okay. And I put the Litra Pro at the other end.
Okay.
And the Litra Pro, you know, has 2 quarter 20 holes on it to let you mount with. Now, here's where it gets really interesting. So this is onto the side of the rafter. This is pointed down, and I can direct this light wherever I want. I can make it a hair light, or I can make it a fill light, whatever I'd like. You turn it on, and I had these 2 up, and I just walked around the room with my iPhone, and using the Litra app, I was able to regulate the different brightnesses and get everything balanced without having to climb back up on a ladder or a step, and be able to regulate those lights. So for remote use, when you want to use these as overhead lights, this setup is just amazing and unmatchable. I don't think there's anything else that can do this job as well and as easily.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that you hit it right on the head. I mean, think about all the times like we go on set and we have our grid system up high in a studio, and we have, you know, so many people on ladders all the time, and we're wasting time by you know, the grip climbing the ladder, coming back down, adjusting to their mark. This way you can control it right from the phone. With the Light from Studio, you can control the color now, the RGB So it truly is amazing. And I love the idea of mounting those, like, especially in a studio setting, permanently, and then being able just to change the light out when you need it. And then you could even run power to those to make it easier. So let's keep talking with Litra now that we're on the subject. But what is your favorite Litra accessory and why? I mean, you talked about the Pro and the app, but is there like that? You mentioned the softbox for teleconferencing, but what really has changed the game for you and your customers?
Well, I'm going to stick with the softbox because I use it. You know what? When Scott Ganch first showed me the softbox, he showed it to me. It's 5 plastic pieces. You got to put them together. I said, "Oh, Scott, this looks so flimsy." But when you put it together, the thing is so unbelievably solid. Yeah. And then it packs down to nothing into a little bag. I got to tell you, I became a big fan, and I use this all the time. And especially if you handle this right, and we talked before about feathering the lighting. Let's turn this on. Feathering the lighting, and you can see you just get such a nice light out of that. You know,
very soft across the face. Yeah,
very soft across. And you know, the other great thing about the Litra Pro is I love the fact that you can regulate the color balance on it because it's a bicolor light. So here I am with it there, it's to the amber side,
3K,
and now I just cool it up a little bit there, and now it's on the bluish side there. Really, it's just an amazing little light. The fact that it's built military grade, the fact that it's waterproof down to about 30 meters. Am I right with that?
Yep.
And it's so light and compact. It's just a wonderful piece.
Yeah, absolutely. I totally agree with you. The softbox is, I mean, especially for anything like on the face, you always want, unless you're doing something specific, you really always want that soft light coming in. And we've got I've got my diffusion on my fill light here, making it nice and soft across my face, across from the diffusion from the studio. And I couldn't agree more. It really is, the way it folds up is truly amazing, and it's very compact, just like the Platypod system. So let's talk a little bit about where people can find your products and everything. I know I've mentioned it briefly, but where is the best place for someone to find your products? And then after that, I would really like to know what's next for Platypod. I mean, You showed me a really cool thing the other day, and I'd like to get into that briefly if we could.
Okay. Are we getting any questions in, by the way?
That was the next question. I think you froze up
Okay.
there for a second, but
I
I
did,
wanted to
yeah.
know. Yeah, but I think what's next for Platypod is really what is the hot question right now.
Okay. So how much time do I have?
You have all the time in the world. I mean, but I will say this: we'll get kicked off in about 10 to 15 minutes from Instagram on the
Okay.
live. So let's keep it.
I'll give you the mini medium version. Okay. The
The
problem.
elevator, yeah.
The problem.
Yeah.
Number one, the problem is we saw an issue with tripod heads. Issue number one is on tripod heads, everybody's putting the panning section, or almost everybody's putting the panning section of a tripod head on the bottom. Let me explain. I've now mounted this tripod head on a tripod with one leg extended off to the side to prove a point. If the legs are not leveled and the tripod head base is off at an angle, you can go all you want, and let's see, we'll set this off nice and level at the top. You go ahead and mount a camera onto here. And again, I'm exaggerating a little bit to prove a point, but I think anyone who's tried this understands this very, very well.
Well, if you're on a mountainside, that's not exaggerating, that's for sure.
Okay. You go to pan from here, and before you know it, everything is pointing up, down, sideways. Now, it would kind of be nice of me to turn my camera right side up, but we'll do that. Okay, but you see the point. When you're panning, it doesn't pan straight. So what we decided was we need to do something about that and get the panning in a different position to relieve that problem. Problem number two, let's get the camera back off of here. Problem number two is if anyone does child photography like I do, with 10 kids in a shot, 20 kids in a shot, you got about 90 seconds to get your shot. So you mount your camera on over here, you get everything straightened out, you get the top level, and now you put your camera on and you realize, oh my goodness, I had my knob on the wrong side, so now you got to turn it around, loosen this, turn it around again, get it set up again. Before you know it, the kids are all starting to cry or stick out their tongues, and you've missed your shot. Okay.
Yep.
The other problem with having so many knobs sticking out is if you pack this together with, let's say, a strobe flash, something else that's plastic, you stand a good chance of cracking that. So you would never pack it together with this. And these don't pack very flat because there's so many protruding things. And this happens to be an outstanding ball head. And I won't say anything bad about the company that makes this. I think they're wonderful. But we have these issues. The other issue that you get with ball heads is that when you're trying to level, if you notice, all the ball heads have a little bubble level on top.
Yeah.
But when you put that bubble level on, you put your camera on, it's either covered by the camera or by the lens. You can never see it. You can't see it at night either. So that's another issue that you have with these. So in comes our new invention. We've been working on this for over 4 years. And it is finally coming out next year. We ran a Kickstarter program to raise money, which takes a lot of money to do something like this. And we've been successful in that. So out comes the Platyball. And this comes in two flavors, the Platyball Ergo and the Platyball Elite. First, I'll show you the Ergo, and there's one major difference with the Elite. Now, you take this. Now, what we've done is we've gotten rid of the panning section from the bottom. We basically flipped the whole thing upside down. The panning is now at the top. So now when you mount this onto a tripod, and I'm going to do the same thing with the tripod way off at an angle. Let's get this on there. There we go. Okay. And now we level at the top. Can you see that?
Yeah, yeah.
And now once you're level at the top, let's mount the same camera, same lens on top of here. And now when you go to pan,
oh wow, look at that. You got nice your and even pan now across fully because you're pivoting at the top rather than the bottom.
Correct. Okay. So we've eliminated one issue. Issue
Yeah.
number 2 is all those protruding knobs and how to find them when you're trying to fumble around. There's 3 different knobs that you're looking for.
Right.
What we did is we built an ergonomic system where all you got to do is grab it. That's it. Now your fingers are on all the controls and there are no knobs. You've got a push button pumping system. The top, and this is all gear driven on the inside, the top locks it, the bottom unlocks it.
Oh, wow.
Turn to the left, turn to the right, very, very easily. And then when you want to lock it up, you pump it a few times and it's locked up. And to go from fully locked to relatively unlocked takes about 3 or 4 pumps. Okay?
Yeah. Yeah.
To pan, there's a little, I'll turn this to the side. I don't know if everybody can see, there's a little wheel over here. Your thumb is naturally on that wheel. Here it's locked, pull it back a quarter or eighth of a turn, and you've unlocked the panning head, and now it's locked. To mount the camera, now for the photographers that are out there who don't know, an ARCA mount is based on a quick release plate, and I'll show that real quick. A quick release plate, and I have this on a little phone mount, but it looks like this, and it's got these 2 grooves on the side. And this is a universal design that fits 90% of the quick release systems out there. So that's what we're using. You can see that in a plate. There are companies that also make, let me look around here, for an L bracket. Missing the L, oh, there it is. They also make L brackets so that if you want to mount this on your camera and go from landscape to portrait, you can easily flip it. And they have the same kind of grooves on there. Okay. So we also have an ARCA system on here. And what you do to lock your camera on, this camera has now an ARCA plate on the tripod collar ring. Okay, this is locked. Now you just twist it. I don't know if you can hear a ratcheting.
Yep.
Ratchet, close, and it's locked on. You're not fumbling for knobs. You just grab the collar and there's a safety button here. Just naturally, you close it, open it, and it comes right off.
No more coin. No more coin. You don't got to worry about the coin tightening on the plate, and then now you're just using that.
Well, the plate, what we did is we're supplying this with our own ARCA plate, and as opposed to using the rectangular plates, we now have a circular plate. So that's what you're referring to. No coins necessary over there. You just take this little plate and you can spin it onto a camera if you need to get something on quickly. Personally, I still like L brackets, but this is really good if you got to get something on here fast. And now you click that on, and look how nicely that holds. Okay, yeah. And you can still go 90 degrees sideways like that, and that'll hold on real
That's
nice.
Amazing. I love what you've done to simplify yet fix all of those issues. Let's talk really quickly about the difference with the Elite, and then we got to hop off here before we get kicked off.
Okay, quickly. We talked about the problem. How many minutes do we have? We got up to 10. Okay, I'll make it 3. And then we can take some questions. So
I want to see this. This is the really cool part.
For the leveling issue, what we did was we got rid of the bubbles altogether, and we have the world's first and now patented electronic leveling indicator.
So cool. I love that.
So now all you have to do, now it's going to be hard for me. I have to pick this up because you can't see it on the table. Now what you do is you just rock this left and right until you get 4 arrows lit in the center. And when you've got that balanced in, you're accurate to within 1/2 degree. It's calibratable. It's visible. You can dim it for nighttime use. You can brighten it for bright sunlight. You can see it everywhere. It's powered by a tiny little alkaline battery. That's the same kind that you would use for car remotes. Here's the battery. I bought a bunch of these for about 50 cents a piece. If you go to your local drugstore, you'll probably pay about $3 a piece. But very easy to put in and out of there. These last, with standard use, a few months. If you use it like crazy, it might only be a day or two. It depends how many hours you put through, and also the brightness level. But this works incredibly well. You can calibrate it if you say, oh, well, I've got one in the back of my camera, so I don't need that. You could buy ergo, or you can calibrate this to your camera, because one thing your camera can't easily do is, let's say you want to shoot architectural inside a kitchen. You put this
Right.
way inside the corner. In fact, we have a picture, whoa, right over there,
Yeah,
of
like
that
back angle. Yeah,
very
sure.
situation. Okay, so you can put this on this way. Now you can't see your monitor in the back,
That's cool.
but you can still see our level on that side. So very useful, especially for architectural work.
No, that's incredible. Portability, you're fixing the problems. Again, it's easy. You hit your goal on Kickstarter, it sounds like. When will that be available?
So we're making final refinements to these prototypes. We have achieved well over our 22-pound goal of hold. And we see 22 pounds, it means we're hanging weights right off the side of this and coming
Cool.
back a few hours later, making sure it didn't move. So it's going to have incredible weight capacity. The goal is to have that delivered in March, to get it out to retail stores. Our Kickstarter backers who backed us very early, we're going to fly a bunch of them in, and they're going to have them in December. These are still available now on Indiegogo, and that's
Okay.
going to be until June 1st. If you'd like to back us, you'll save a bundle, I think up to 15 to 20% on the Platypod, but you got to do it soon, because the price after that is going to go to $325 on that. Right now it's $279, and on the Ergo, it's going to go up to $249. Right now it's $225. But we're rewarding our backers for helping us with production costs on this, and we really appreciate that. So the easiest way to get to the Platypod is to just go to platypod.com, and it'll shoot you right to Indiegogo now. And after June 1st, it'll take you on to our website, and we'll have a page for it there.
Perfect. There you go, Max Seeley. That's the answer to your question right there. It sounds like you need to get on and go to that Indiegogo page and platypod.com. It'll take you to the Indiegogo page, and you'll get that taken care of. Larry, this has been amazing, man. It was really nice to get to know you.
Thanks.
And your products are great.
Likewise.
And I think that this is going to be a really good relationship to keep having with Litra and Platypod, and now Platypod. I can't wait to see you at NAB next year. You guys will just be crushing it with that thing, and I really appreciate your time.
Dru, if I can just mention one more thing, I really want to thank. There's been a lot of people that have helped us, and I've mentioned their names before. One person I really want to give a shout out to, I'm not sure if he's watching now, is a guy up in New England named Shiv Verma. Shiv is a photography instructor up in the New England area, and he has helped me almost every step of the way. He has somewhat of an engineering background, every step of the way in helping to develop this. We've got a brilliant engineer out in Utah named Maren Swayze, who's been working on this, and the design is so novel and so different and so special. We're working on 4 patents already on this. So really, thank you to everyone. Thanks a lot, especially to Scott Kelby, who's been a tremendous advisor to us. I vet this out like crazy because I want to make sure this is something that you will want and that all your viewers would be interested in.
Check out my Instagram page, man. I'll test one for you right now. Let's go. Thank you so much, Larry. We'll talk to you soon, my man. Keep it up.
And thank you to all your viewers for coming and joining us and just spending some time with us at Platypod. If you have any questions, reach out to me, Larry at platypod.com. You can look at us up at www.platypod.com. And thank you to all my friends at Litra again.
Thank you so much, Larry. We will talk to you soon. That is awesome information. Thanks so much.
You're welcome.
Appreciate it.
Thanks.
Thank you. That was incredible. Like, that guy has so much information. Like, the Platypod, did you see the level? Like, I've never seen, and he's got a patent on that thing. So that's really cool. It's really unique, and that's definitely something I'm going to get my hands on. We're running out of time. Thank you guys so much for watching. This was the Litra Creative Corner. We will see you again next Thursday with another special guest. And stay tuned for more awesome stuff from Litra. There's some stuff coming up down the pipe, and I'm really excited to show you guys. Talk to you soon. Thanks for joining.